What's up, you guys? I'm trying here.
Go.
I'm gonna lose my shit.
Nobody's
Actually,
listening to you. Go.
What's up, you guys? Welcome back to Sup Friend Podcast. I'm here with Francisco and
I'm here with Naomi. What are we doing today, Naomi?
we are reacting to Fresh and Fit.
What do you think about the guys?
I'm not a fan.
I'm not a fan either, but I like watching them. It's like, you ever see a dog try to get into a chew toy with peanut butter in it? It's kind of like looking at them trying to talk to women. It's like not gonna work out. The first short,
Women mature when they start paying for their own drinks. That's when women really mature.
That's facts.
They say, oh, women mature faster than men. I think that's the biggest lie ever. I genuinely think once a girl gets attractive enough where she starts to get male attention, she behaves like a child. Because she doesn't have to mentally develop herself to the same degree as a man does to be attractive. So it's like, oh, guys, think about it. When you're flirting with a girl, are you actually sitting there talking with her about critical thinking, geopolitics, how the world really works, making money? No, you're doing dumb shit, treating her like your sister to be attractive. Yeah.
I mean,
let's thumb wrestle. Oh, yeah. When you're flirting with a girl, you literally have to dumb it down if you really think about it.
Yeah.
You're like teasing her. You're making fun of her. You're negging her. You're treating her like a child for her to be attracted to you. You have to almost infantilize her for her to realize that you're better than her because you're not taking her seriously. And I know you're laughing because one of the most potent ways to flirt as a man is by treating a girl like your little sister and not taking her seriously. So you have to bring it down, talk to her like she's a child, and they find that attractive.
do you find that attractive when guys tease you and want to thumb wrestle with you?
No,
Call
okay.
you an idiot?
That's my first thought. If you are thumb wrestling a woman at your age, I don't know. I don't know what kind of women you're going after. Maybe that's the only women he can get because
Yo, thumb
they're
wrestle's kind of lit though.
No. But if you first meet a girl, if those are the girls that you're going after, they're probably 19 years old because that's all that he can get with his mindset.
I mean, but I feel like a bunch of 19-year-old hot girls don't want to thumb wrestle either. Just to be, what is he actually saying?
I think the argument was
He
all
said that
over the
girls aren't
place.
mature and they don't mature faster than men. That's kind of was his argument, right?
I completely disagree with that.
I disagree
First
also.
off.
I disagree also, yeah.
I think that first point also just doesn't really make sense because women should be taken care of by men. And I think he's made that point a lot anyway,
That's true.
overall.
That is true. He makes that point a lot.
I think he means if you meet a girl out, a girl just being out, not a girl he invited
She
out.
probably already has a drink in her hand.
From another man that paid for it.
Honestly, the funny thing to me is the way he says, you have to dumb down your conversation. We're not talking about geopolitics. Listen, you're not talking geopolitics with anybody. I've seen this dude talk about wrestling for 6 hours. I didn't watch the whole 6 hours where they talked about the WWE. So get into girls that like the WWE so you can talk about your not dumbed down conversation.
I think he just needs to find a girl that has a similar interest as him because
But see, that's what he don't want. Who are all these genius men with 145, 150 IQs taking out dumb women to date? It just sounds so egotistical of this guy. I would love to see his IQ. He should do a live IQ test.
he's saying flirting with them. In order to get them to like you, you need to dumb everything down and treat them like an infant.
If you're just saying, I have to dumb down my whole conversation with you during this whole date or whatever, I guarantee you the girl is not going to like you.
Maybe open your dating pool a little bit.
Date some girls that work with you. If you're not surrounded by a bunch of Instagram models all the time, like me, maybe you should not attempt to date them.
I think they're actually into the girls that are around them. They just can't get them.
Yeah, maybe you just don't got no riz.
The girls that they invite on the show, a lot of them are really pretty. Really pretty girls.
But their game is putting girls down.
Right. It's
You're trying to convince them that they're stupid and that they should like you because they're stupid. It makes no sense. But let's move on to the next one.
are you really loyal?
Yeah,
Okay,
I
let's say you're dating someone for 6 months and Drake walks in the room. How are you going to behave?
Why the fuck?
I want to know, are you going to start flirting or talking to Drake? Or are you going to pretend?
to Drake?
Well, I want to know if a high-value male like Drake started chatting you up. Are you going to walk the other way? Are you going to be loyal?
his nails.
I seriously doubt any girl would would be loyal. We've got a lie detector we can bring up if you want to do it.
Let's do it.
Really?
Let's do it.
But yeah, I mean, if you have a boyfriend and Drake walks in the room, Drake's your favorite artist in the world.
Drake's my favorite artist in the whole world.
Would you bang Drake if you're in a committed relationship?
If I was in a committed relationship, no.
I'll be honest, I believe her. I'm her best friend. This is the thing with
But
this
not
type of
every
argument.
girl is a loyal bitch. I'll put that out there.
Let's put it this way too. Not every girl is in a 100% signed, sealed, delivered committed relationship also. If you're dating a girl for a couple months and you're not showing signs of being a committed man and vice versa. Look, chances are that if a girl's going to cheat on you, she's not going to cheat on you with Drake. If a girl's ever going to cheat on you, it's going to be with some dude that's kind of better than you because you're not fulfilling whatever you're fulfilling in the relationship. And it's not even necessarily the guy's fault. It could be the girl's fault too. And vice versa. If a guy's going to cheat on a girl, it's not going to be with Margot Robbie or Kim Kardashian. He's probably going to cheat on you with like some other hot chick. Or maybe like in some cases like some booty ugly chick.
On the other episode of Fresh and Fit, they were like, are women or men more likely to cheat? I think it's still men.
If cheating is 99% sexual or 90% sexual or even 51% sexual, men are just more naturally looking for sex instead of relationships. So yeah, I think men would be more likely to cheat. I would put money on men. But I think that this Zerka guy, and he says, no, all girls cheat. It just depends on the level of guy. It's like there are women that have been faced with like the most horrific circumstances by conquering countries and stuff, and they still didn't cheat. In that case, I think it's a super flawed argument.
I agree.
You can't force a girl to say she's a cheater.
We're bringing a lie detector test.
At the end of the day, if a man is treating you right and you like genuinely love him as a woman, you're not gonna cheat. You're not even gonna look the other way. Like if I were in a relationship with my man and Drake walked in the door, like yeah, like I'd like be like, oh okay, cool. But like I'm not giving that man attention if I have a man.
Are you giving him your number?
Drake?
Yeah.
No.
Slips into. Honestly, I believe you because like yeah, I've seen the type of dudes that slip into your DMs. You know what? It's just, and then what does that say about you as a man? If you believe that every woman would cheat on you dependent on the men that they're around, especially when you're not there, then what does that say about you as a man? You must not hold anything down. Next one.
What kind of guy do you want? All right, how much does he got to make a year for you annually?
At least 6 figures.
Okay, 100,000 per year. Age range?
I'm 21. The max I'll go above me is 10 years max.
All right, what's the race that he's got to be?
I'm not like too picky about race. Like
Asian?
Yeah.
Will you date one of
Yeah.
them boys?
Yeah, I would.
You would? All right. And then, well, how tall they got to be? 6
Not
foot?
that free. Yeah, at least 6 foot.
Okay, all right, cool.
I mean, like even 6'1".
6'1".
All right, so she-
Hey man, you know your worth. And then, do you care if they own or rent, or it doesn't matter?
We gotta go towards. No, I don't care.
You don't care? Okay, schooling, do you care?
Bachelor's at least.
Bachelor's. Okay, this is gonna be awesome. All right, can he be obese or no? And then, can he be married?
No.
Okay. So exclude married men. So just so you know, before we show this, okay, this goes off of the 2020 U.S. Census Bureau and the National Center for Health Statistics. So this is the most accurate assessment of men in the United States. Let's see how common this dream man is for you. You scored a perfect 5 out of 5.
First of all, there's a Build-A-Man website. You go first, because I have like my own opinion.
Maybe I'm biased, but I've always gotten what I want. So just the people I go after are, you know, a certain level of person. But not to say that it's absolutely necessary. I don't ever base things off of like education or anything like that. Like I think that's a little over the top.
So it doesn't matter what percentage you want to say that a woman can get or can't get. It's the fact that if you say, oh, you want a guy that's 6 foot tall, makes $100,000 a year, and this and that, that's the top 5% of men or whatever. Chances are, because the way men are, she probably could date a guy that does that if she's fairly attractive. Okay, next one.
They also found that the higher IQ for a man, the more ability he has to be married, but the higher IQ points for women, the lower the probability of finding a mate and getting married. So, like, it tells you that men don't care about that shit in general. Like, yeah, is it cool to be able to have a girl that's not? Sure. But in general, like, if a girl's hot, a guy's going to be like, you know what? I'm willing to tolerate her being less intelligent. Like,
They're
men
gonna
don't
get
care
more.
about that.
They're gonna get more arguments though because she's not gonna understand
Actually, the
and
intelligent girl's going to
comprehend.
be
more
because
combative.
she's going to be more combative.
And I'm sure you
that's
know
not
about
true.
proximity.
I mean,
if you're
maybe her.
intelligent, you're around a lot of other intelligent people. If you're a lawyer like I am, I'm an exception, but you're around usually a lot of other lawyers, and lawyers tend to marry other lawyers. Doctors tend to marry other doctors. They're intelligent women or highly college educated women. Again, we're the only ones who our divorce rates aren't going down. They don't seem to have trouble finding husbands.
Yeah, it's not even agreeable.
I hate
has
that
nothing
dude.
to
That
do with
dude's
age.
so
It
annoying.
has to do with
Yes,
your
it does.
demeanor. No, it doesn't.
Or fuck.
You think you're gonna argue more? Have you been in relationships where you argue a lot when you're a 40-year-old couple, or you think you're gonna have more?
Real quick, what do you think about that proximity? She's saying the case that like, this is the thing. A lot of people have kids with people that they're around a lot, get married to like, if you go to church, you usually marry a girl from church. If you're in high school and you got married young, it was usually another girl from your high school or your neighborhood. Girls usually marry guys that were like...
I mean, that's kind of what I was just saying.
Yeah,
minutes
you
ago.
dated athletes because you were always on the field. Myself, I always date girls that are around me because of what I do, right? I worked in the social media space, dated a lot of social media models. When I was doing some work with like big companies, that's when I dated the CEOs. Maybe it's because they are in the club or walking around in Miami. They seem to come around that type of nature a lot. Bro, let's just keep it honest. If you're a dude right now watching and you work at Pet Boys right now, right? Like you work at like an AutoZone or something like that. There's not going to be a lot of girls there, right? But have you ever been at a job, like a 9-to-5 job, and there's that one super hot chick that maybe you landed or maybe somebody, right? It's like the only reason they got with her is not because they were the top tier dude or drove a Lamborghini or anything. It's because she worked with him.
That's a good point. Fuck. That's a good ass point.
Right. Like, so if you work, like, see, dudes, you guys got to stop. If you work at Chipotle, go look for the Chipotle in your area where it's all hot girls and go work there. Like, that's one of the reasons one of my night jobs were always at strip clubs. I was a doorman at a strip club and I always dated like hot stripper chicks. It wasn't because I was putting up with them or anything. It's just because like I just dated hot strippers.
Because my exes were like medium ugly. I just spent so much time with them, I ended up liking them.
Girls will like a nice guy. The thing is like, well, the second she meets a better looking guy or a guy with a car, it's like, look, man, the majority of girls that turn me down, even with a Lambo, even with a bunch of money, with giant Cuban necklace, all that, the Rolexes, whatever, the majority of the time girls turn me down is because she was like, I have a boyfriend. It's not that this or that. So you have a boyfriend. I'm like, oh, cool, respect, boom, dab her up, cool, right on. Is that your friend? Are you single? Cool, then I'll bring her. You know what I mean? Like, it's just the way it is. But see, when you don't have that kind of mentality, these dudes, they're just like a defeated ass, like, man. I feel like as confident as they are in all their arguments, they just sound more defeated to me.
But it's not real, true confidence in their responses and arguments, I don't think. It's like what they know.
Yeah, what they think they know.
Like, they're not that's kind of what I was saying earlier. Like, they're not actually formulating arguments.
They can bring out all the stats they want, but like a lot of these stats, look, there's arguments for both sides on both sides of stats. Because she brings out some stats. I saw some of this one too, where she's like this and that, and those stats ended up being true. And you still have guys saying, no, but they're not asking people while they're like actually in the relationship. It's like, yeah, sure, there's excuses for everything. What I'm saying is like in the real world, smart people usually get with other smart people. There's no like really genius dude that's like, oh, I'm looking for like a dumb hot bitch. Like there's no genius dude. If you go to like Palo Alto, where there's a lot of tech dudes, they're usually not married to like super hot Instagram models.
Agreed.
They have millions of dollars. Some of these dudes are stupid rich.
That's the industry I came from.
They might marry a good looking woman sometimes. And that's all like, right? That's all subjective. Maybe they find a woman that is really good looking. Who they cheat on them with, or if they do cheat or whatever, or who they dated for fun before her. Hey, a lot of my homies that from Beverly Hills that had like a year or two once they turned 18 and they had their little trust fund, or once they graduate college, they had their trust fund. Their parents, they're smart dads that are lawyers, doctors. Hey, go travel the world, go have fun, go enjoy it, because that's just how it is. And just hear me out too. It's not to say that Instagram models are not those types of girls.
Yeah.
Some of the dopest girlfriends I've had were Instagram models and stuff. It's just that maybe they're not ready to settle down right now. Why would you? Different world. It's not 1946.
In a relationship with a 21-year-old couple, the 21-year-old couple is going to fight way more than the older couple.
Well, that's why men prefer women that are younger than them.
But if you marry a woman under 25, you're divorced. Statistically, you're going to be way more likely to get divorced.
And that depends on their age too, because there's just, I don't know how many men you guys talk to, but besides in Miami, but people.
I'm sorry, pause. I have to stop it. They're arguing kind of two different things. They're arguing IQ and age. So in terms of intelligence, I mean.
But wait, hold on real quick. I think they were arguing the IQ based upon how long you'll stay married together, or if the relationship will be fulfilling.
She's saying age-wise. They're saying IQ.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because there's just so much more life experience. Me, at my age, I don't think I'd want to marry necessarily somebody super duper young, like a 19-year-old or a 20-year-old. Now, would I have a 19-year-old girlfriend? Absolutely. But I don't I'm just being honest, yo. Like, we can keep it real. But, I mean, who wouldn't? You know what I'm saying? Like, a hot 19-year-old girlfriend? Why not? It'd be fun. Marriage-wise, I don't think that would work. I think I would want to marry somebody in their 30s, to be really honest. Or, like, late 20s.
Do you agree with this point, though, that if you're younger... Okay, let's take, like, age of women and men being the same. So if an older man is dating a younger woman, are they more likely to fight than an older man dating an older woman?
I mean, it depends on the things they are fighting about, right?
Regardless of gender, it's like there's going to be compromise and arguments regardless.
Regardless of gender, regardless of age, regardless of IQ, there will be compromise, there will be fights, there'll be everything. But, I mean, there's also those rare occasions where people don't ever fight. Some people aren't very argumentative people. I'm a very argumentative person, as you are. There are people where if you give them a reason to argue, they still won't argue. They're just chill. That's why I'm saying, like, these stats...
I'm argumentative. I'm actually not. I dated my last ex for almost 2 years, and we only argued when we were breaking up.
Well, maybe you should argue more.
Want to be able to relate to the person that they're around all the time, and you can't relate that well to someone who's that
Not
much
necessarily.
younger.
Hyper masculine men prefer hyper feminine women.
Hyper masculine.
Hyper-masculine?
Does
Yes.
he consider himself hyper
What's a
masculine?
hyper masculine person?
Everything that he's not. I think
You're making it personal.
I'm sorry.
What
I'm
is it? What are
sorry.
these hyper masculine
I'm sorry.
men? I'll say this. Let's take guys that are in jail, for instance, or in prison. To me, that's hyper masculine because there's only men. It's life or death, right? See a documentary or whatever. All they do is work out, eat, and then talk about like hurting each other. Is that what hyper masculine is?
I'm not really sure what his definition of a hyper masculine man would be.
Right.
But what he's arguing is a hyper masculine man wants a super feminine woman.
He used hyper feminine too,
Did
right?
he? I don't know.
Oh.
But anyways,
What's a
I don't
super feminine
necessarily
woman?
agree with that because I think about criminals and I think about their wives. Their wives are fucking badass, okay? They're not some like delicate flower. Like they will stand behind their man and they will.
That doesn't seem very hyper feminine.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
I don't
no.
agree with
Is
his
it-
argument is what I'm saying.
Is it like a girl that just bakes all day and is always like, "Hey, how are you? You want me to suck your dick today?"
And
I'll
if that's
suck
the
your
case,
dick."
then you need to provide that soft feminine lifestyle for a woman. Which, yeah, if you are like the man, then sure, maybe that's what you want. I think it comes down to preference. I don't really think hyper masculine men necessarily want a girl that just nods her head all day. I don't think so.
The guys that women find attractive, the dominant and assertive guys, they typically want a very feminine woman.
Well, that's a different thing. You can be feminine at any age, obviously, but agreeableness and your demeanor and your personality is something you're going to carry through your life. If you're an argumentative, combative person when you're 18, you're going to be like that when you're 40. Or if you're like a calm, like more reasonable person when you're young.
Arguing being non-agreeable is not a feminine trait.
Being agreeable is
No,
feminine.
being non-agreeable is not a feminine trait. That's a more masculine trait to be non.
So that's where I don't know if that's what you were trying to say, but like being argumentative. That's the whole basis of this argument is that being argumentative makes you not feminine. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, but who am I to tell a girl when to be feminine or not be feminine? Like, my girl will be however she wants with me in the privacy of our own home and in the privacy of our relationship. But she doesn't have to be hyper feminine around you, right? Like, if a girl comes on this guy's show and decides to be argumentative, right? She doesn't have to be feminine with these guys. They're just regular dudes. Like, they're dudes that don't matter to her. She doesn't care about, and they're on there to debate. So if you're saying, "Oh, I don't like the way you debate," you're a masculine, non-feminine woman because you don't bring that out in her. But her man might bring that out in her. She might be at home freaking making menudo and tacos, tortillas de mano. Saying, because you know what? My mom was super feminine with my father, but outside of that, like in the streets, she was not like in the streets, but you know, on the way to church, right? If you got in an argument with her on the way to church, she would have to say, "I'm on my way to church. Lord, please forgive me in advance." Because she doesn't have to be feminine with you, bro. Like, it just is. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, that's a separate argument. I agree with you.
What's the argument?
He's saying in general, not necessarily them coming at him. Them and women in general.
Is it a masculine trait?
Yeah, that's what he's saying.
Maybe. Is it?
I don't think so.
You think it's just a human
I
trait?
think it's a human trait.
I agree. So because men have that tendency, they're saying it's a masculine trait.
But I completely disagree with that. I think women are very argumentative in general.
Yeah, when they're not like in the 1600s being threatened with death or like beheadedness or I think they get a lot of this type of like you have to do this from those eras. The awesome part about living in the West right now or the majority of civilized world, the majority of it is that there's a lot more equality. It's not as equal as it could be, but there's a lot more equality for women and men. And so women don't have to deal with the threat of violence like they used to. And you find that in men too, in all male groups. If you're around a lot of guys and there's always a threat of violence, you're going to mind your P's and Q's, right? That's probably how it is when you're incarcerated, because you don't want to pop nothing off that you can't back up. Yeah, maybe it is just a human trait.
I think that point that you made is really good. It's like, now that there is more equality in the world, women are more able to express themselves. So I think in these times, women are able to be more argumentative and you not get punished in like a physical way. But in terms of a relationship, women will naturally submit if a man makes her feel safe.
I think that is very, very true. Because if you were a girl, like in a village, and the biggest, toughest dude liked you, you're his girlfriend, probably, right?
If y'all vibe, yeah.
Nah, I don't think so. I think he makes you his girlfriend.
I don't know. I don't do anything I don't want him to.
Yeah, but back then you probably were. Like, you don't live in those times. What I'm
No,
saying,
I can't speak on behalf of those times, but I see what you're saying.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, it sucks to admit, but yeah, it's like Genghis Khan was the biggest boss in the world and this and that. Yeah, he was the biggest warlord in the world. He like put a bunch of women in slavery to have these kids. These girls weren't like, oh, I want to be your concubine.
But and then that's so.
And that's what men don't like. Like, men don't want to sit there and argue with women. Like, it's
Yeah, but that and you're right about that. But I'm just saying that being that way, it has nothing to do with age. Maybe it is about your testosterone levels.
women that
as
are
a
younger
woman.
are going to be. If you're an older guy and you're with a younger girl, it's going to be less likely for her to argue with you. And then if she's also had less experiences, she's been less
you met-
promiscuous.
So why
That's
is she
not
more
true.
likely to divorce you than a
That's
woman who's
total
closer to
bullcrap.
your age?
She's gonna argue with you all the time because she's young
I'm
and
not
mature.
believing anything you're saying because you say a bunch of BS stats.
I mean, guys, look it up.
you,
Don't
you
get your
literally,
I mean,
you
they
literally
have-
come on here and you say a bunch of.
First of all, if you look at her YouTube channel, all of her stats are right, and this guy is just mad that she's an actual lawyer and knows how to argue. She has more education than him. For him to say that she has a bunch of BS stats and not prove the stats wrong on live television, not be ready with that, she's back on his show. Shows how unprepared and how silly this person's argument is.
Uploaded on her
Nonsense that
YouTube.
I
isn't
will post
necessarily
everything
true.
to my Instagram if you guys want to follow it.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, fuck
Yeah.
outta here.
I'm just
See,
speaking.
that's what
I'm
trying
just
to say,
speaking from
bro.
experience.
Like you came in here last time and you said a bunch of BS and I got a million DMs like, this is a lie, this is
Got
a
a
link, blah
million.
blah blah. This she made this astroturf. It's
Yeah,
a
but
lie.
you don't get. That's how you don't look at you. You do actual research. You don't look at your illiterate chat or DMs.
No,
you
they
look
gave
at,
me. They literally
did.
gave me the data and they're like, yo,
Okay,
don't
so-
bring this girl back.
So
Hold on, real quick. No, wait. If you look at her Instagram and her YouTube, she did upload stats. This is the funny thing. If she said a bunch of false things before, why did you, number one, have her back on the show? And then number two, not have the stats to prove her wrong? Isn't your whole show about proving all these girls wrong? So you didn't take the time to properly prepare, and you're not vetting your guests correctly, because if someone was doing false information, why would you have them back on? Okay, maybe because of her appearance and she brings you people, right? Which means that their whole show is based on a fallacy. I mean, that's the only way I can think about it, because being a producer myself and working with a lot of high-level clients, you don't want to bring back on a guest that is going to make you look bad. So your argument saying, I got 1 million in my chat, they proved you wrong. Well, why didn't you just print them out?
Well, in that moment, also, she says, "Look it up right now." You have Google.
Like, they
and
don't
they're
have
like,
the
"No."
capability to
They're
look
doing
up
the-
anything.
They're doing the back just like
They have two dudes in the back freaking clicking buttons and going, shut up, bitch, and then freaking going.
literally.
They can't look on Google and then have a debate. No, this and that. And then, I mean, I think she got you, bro.
It is an interesting point to make, is like, the show has a certain group of girls every time. They purposely bring on girls to try to make them look stupid. So yeah, this just doesn't really make sense to have her on.
And this show in particular, this one, it was all girls who really didn't speak English. And I think it's really messed up that they would have on a bunch of girls that don't speak English, make fun of them for not understanding English, when like 90% of the dudes on there have immigrant parents. Like, my father came to this country, didn't know English correctly. If you made fun of my dad for not knowing English correctly, like, either of us is gonna punch you. You know what I'm saying? Like, her dad came to this country from another country. So I think it's really rude to, number one, invite girls on, make fun of them for having accents, try to then use that to say they're stupid. I've never seen a panel of 10 hot lawyers or
All
10
college educated
10,
women.
10 hot doctors, right? Or girls that have degrees.
Just women who are able to form a valid argument. They just have an opinion rather than form an argument. I think that's where she stands out because she uses facts and statistics to back her points rather than, oh, well, I feel like. The girls that are usually on these panels are all like, oh, well, I feel like.
Because that's all they can do. I mean, all they can do is feel. They're not over here doing, 400 podcasts a year, consistently saying the same thing. How does this podcast start? What's your name? What's your age? Are you single? Are you single? Level of education? Like, they're trying to interview women as if they are trying to get a job. How many men have you smashed? Like, bro, you're never... Look, I'll challenge any guy that agrees with these dudes. Go on a date and start off with that. Start off with it. See how far you get. If anybody finds a feminine, hyper feminine woman to marry and have children with that hook, I will personally transfer $100,000 from my account into your account. If you could show me that you got the girl with that hook, I will wire you money right now. I'm out.
That was fun. We'll see y'all next time.